Mr. Zuma. Ngathi usebumnyameni kunjani?
If you give me just a few seconds, I'm actually gonna put on the video light. Sweet, I do have a video light here.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, just give me a second, please.
Sure.
I am back, good sir.
You are still in another dark area.
Aibo, as I've got like an amazing video light here in front of me.
Sabotage.
Yeah, I sabotage.
Do you have a key or a button at what does it say? Something cam. Well, it says stop cam on my side or my but
Yeah, there is a stop cam here.
Try to stop cam and then start cam.
Okay, can you see it's blank now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me try again. How's that?
Hey.
that is I'm gonna take a picture for you now. That is very strange. I have a light in front of me on my phone that look very good. Yeah, I wonder. Okay. Dude, let me see if I can start the stream again and come back.
Okay, cool. All right.
I'll leave now.
Let me check. There's a bit of some comments. Hi guys. Hi everybody. I haven't done this for sure. It's more than a month now that we've been quiet, but got some time to rest. Batting match and marketing. Hi Presh. Thanks for joining us. Sorry for this technical glitch, guys. Cyril is having an issue in a video for the cam part of things. I'm load shedding, so hence you might see that the lighting is a bit dim. But I'm not the main person here tonight's conversation. Cyril, I see that you're back. Let's try to add you, né? Cool. Let's try. Did I do? What did I do now?
How's it? I'm back. How are you?
Guys, can you see Cyril? Maybe it's just me who's not seeing you.
Because I'm very bright here, actually.
Do you see yourself? There should be a sort of like a thumbnail type thing at the bottom.
Yeah, what I'm gonna do is take a picture for you now. I can actually see myself and you clearly. I'll show you. I'll send it to you now on WhatsApp shortly. Sorry about that.
Oh, what's backbone? I think it's me.
Yeah, I think it might be on your side. Just check the picture now on WhatsApp.
Okay, cool. Let me see. I use the imagination here. But can you guys see me? So it's not like, okay, I can see. Nah,
Yeah,
that's cool, man. Yeah, well, now
yeah.
you are well lit.
Thank you
So,
very much.
okay, cool. Thanks for confirming that you can see Cyril. I'm just hoping that once we are done, because we keep these videos or these interviews, then it's gonna show as well. Thanks for
Sure.
joining us. Thanks, Pums and Not Dish, Pression Nisi, Facebook user. Welcome to the show. My name is Mzuzu Soni. I'm the founder of the BrownSense Group, and tonight I am joined by a highly esteemed guest. We started talking. Was it last year or this year? Yeah, last year. I remember.
Last year, definitely,
Last
yeah.
year. Yeah, man. Thanks for making the time. I'm sorry I dropped the ball. Was it last week or the other week? I've lost sense of time. But thanks for agreeing to join me.
It's definitely a
Um,
pleasure. And you and I have been trying to have this conversation for quite a while, actually.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, in
yeah.
fact, one of the things that I remember you did a space sometime. I think this one it was this year, and some key points came up. I think some of them we touch on them around the business here photography, and you had a lawyer. As I don't know if he was a co-host or a guest, but
Yes,
there was quite a number of very much helpful tips that I think will benefit a lot of people, not only people that are in the photography space. I would dare say people about freelancer, your creatives, anyone that's operating in the gig economy will definitely stand to benefit. Without further ado, sir, please introduce yourself, and maybe just a short take at your name. I've seen some people taking jabs, at you on Twitter, which you've combined the two presidents, one former, one current, and now we have Cyril Zuma. And I believe there's a middle name too, but that I don't know if I was imagining or I read something or whatever. But who is Cyril Zuma? Where do you hail from? And just so that we get to frame you nicely, with the ubani umsholozi isithakazelo sasekhaya ngithi ne.
yeah, I'm sure Lewis.
I don't want to assume ukuthi ziyafana because I've met people with the same said umbiza ngesithakazelo, then next thing they're like, no, I'm not from that line. But anyway, over to you. What ubani uCyril Zuma, and where do you hail from, family background, and landing on this path here, photography, and then we can just have a nice journey around that conversation.
For sure. I think firstly, thank you for having me on BrownSense Live. I think for a long time, you and I have, had this conversation about where we're trying to go and what we're trying to do. So firstly, it's really amazing to be here. I think there can only be positive things that happen from here. But other than that, my name is Cyril Zuma. My name really is Cyril Zuma. I first am, a qualified sports coach. That's literally where I take it back to. I'm a qualified sports coach and I'm a qualified trainer. But what I currently do right now is I'm a photographer and also the founder of Color Space. And Color Space is basically a stock photo platform that houses Black people, or Black photos of Black people rather,
Yeah,
around Africa, globally in general. And I'm also a
yeah,
brother and just an amazing human being in general. But yeah, I'm a person who loves and enjoys the outdoors, enjoys people, enjoys building a bit of businesses, partnerships, and building communities. And that's where the color space community comes in, just building the
yeah.
community. And that's where really my brain is at right now.
Nice, man, nice. And then
Yeah,
in terms of background, which part of the country do you hail from? I'm always curious about someone's, I would say, childhood slash upbringing, because a lot of that also plays a big part in terms of the journey that we end up taking.
for sure. Minavele, I was born in Bentley, which is just in the foot of Drakensberg, which is in the KZN basically. I stayed there until I was 14 years old, or just before 12 years old, perhaps, and then I came to Johannesburg without knowing a word of English, and from then,
Wow.
I started learning English, and I went into grade 7, had to repeat a grade, and ever since then, I think I've just been somebody who's a bit of keen in the creative industry. And I always go
Wow.
back to this moment where my mother used to buy me coded cameras, the green ones, and like the disposable ones. And I
I
used to be the
remember
only
those. Yeah.
community who had this camera. So, when I
Yeah.
look back at my creative field, it sort of plays back to where I am now. But yeah, I grew up in Bentley, and then until I was 12, about 12 years old, I came to Johannesburg ever since then. And I've been doing my primary, high school, tertiary, and now definitely business in Johannesburg.
Nice. Nice. So, so you come, as you say, from a background, yeah, sports training.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know how, from your background, I do have an idea that there are seeds that were planted.
Yeah.
How do you find yourself getting into sports training, and also getting to a point where you are like, this is the thing that I love the most, and this is what I'm going to pursue.
I think just like many other black kids in general, like we're exposed to, the things that we're exposed to. And sports was one of them that I was really passionate about from high school. For me, playing all first team sports and primary school in general, and just really liking sports. And I think because I was unsure when I came out of high school of what I wanted to do really, my parents saw a passion in me having sports, playing a lot of sports, and just being involved in some of the back end of sports. So, straight after high school, then I decided I'm actually going to go study sports coaching sciences and personal training. And I studied that for
Hmm.
3 years before then I moved to a different industry, which was digital marketing. And now, obviously, at a
Wow.
different point now.
Hmm. Quite an interesting journey that you've gone through, and I think in a big way, there's also other dots that connect to you coming from the sports training.
Yeah.
You mentioned digital marketing, Konamajin, and then photography.
Yeah.
So when you eventually took the plunge, you would see, you know what, this is my number one. Um, were you already taking or getting into the space of photography while you were a sports trainer, then moving into digital marketing? Or was it more like, you know what, I'm doing this for fun, Wamanje, but this is what I want to go and become? That's one question. So then the second part is it something that you then went and maybe formally studied for, or it was based on a number of years that you had put into the practice?
So I always look at my journey like as a really a blessed journey, to be honest, when I'm Zuzugile, because the first thing I really do look at, how I started out in the industry. I was doing digital marketing, so I was an account manager for clients like Philips and a few government accounts, and I was really looking after their digital presence. And
Mm,
I had, I was, and in the meantime, I was playing around with the camera. So I was in the middle of Santon, walking around, and in fact, I was buying food at Nando's in Santon, and this guy came up to me, looked dodgy, came up to me with a bag, and it had all the camera equipment in there. And I just bought a camera, and so this time I'm
mm,
actually a digital account manager at an agency.
yeah.
Sports, I'm just the sports training I'm doing just on the side as a hobby, and just over
Oh,
time, while I was working as a digital account manager, I was actually taking photos. And one of the specific days where I think things sort of shifted for me was I was taking friends photos with a friends of mine with drink. I was taking photos of drinks at his house, and he
mm,
says to me, "Listen, a friend of mine is a DJ, and he's looking for somebody, photographer at the moment." And I really plunged into that. And the next day, I was driving around with an artist and going to these festivals, and that's how it really started. And I soon realized that the photography, number one, was starting to pay me, if not more, but equal to what I was getting at the digital agency, and it was
wow.
starting. So it wasn't just 1 month, but it was 6 months later, and I'm still in this thing, and this artist is with me the whole time. And I
Yeah.
realized I can really make money off this, and I really had a passion for it, right? And I think the passion also started growing in all of this. I was really unhappy at my job. I think like most creatives that leave their jobs, you're probably unhappy with your employer or
Yeah.
happy at the job, whatever it may be. And those were part of my reasons also. I was unhappy and I didn't get along with the boss. And something really grabbed my attention. And I think I have this obsessive thing about me where when I start something, I want to be able to finish it and make it really great. So
Mm, mm.
just to really cut it short, I didn't study photography. I literally went on YouTube how to use Canon 4000D and how to use it with
Wow.
this lens, and start learning exactly what photography is, all from YouTube, and then obviously
Wow.
follow other people, at gigs or whatever it may be, and looking at their settings, just peeping over to see what settings they have and what kind of photos they're producing. But that's really how
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
in. 8 months later, I quit my job.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. This is dope.
Yeah.
So, how many years into the game? I'm not calling it the game because into your Lisa, but how long have you been in the game since you quit?
Shucks. So I've been in total, I've been in the game for 13 years.
Wow.
And yeah, so I think like it's about 12 now, on my own, just 12 in a few months, but I always call it 12 just on my own, doing my own thing, as a
Mm,
free.
mm, mm.
It has been a beautiful journey, to be honest.
Wow. That's no, you're an expert. So I think one of the things, and it came up with the space that I referred to earlier
Yeah,
that I've seen. I think you also said something about it a few weeks ago. Um, the way that people approach photographers, especially from a pricing point where they might say, depending, I don't know your rates, of course, but
yeah,
um, where they might say, I still this we are doing, I know so and so down the street to charge, let's say, 500 bucks,
sure,
you
yeah.
know. And they want you to come and take photos of their wedding, their 2-day wedding for that matter. Chatabo Mame kitchen, while they're preparing the meals and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm saying this to say, I've picked up that you figured that part of the business out, and obviously with the years of experience you've got.
Yeah,
What
look,
I find out,
yeah,
yeah,
look, I think the pricing thing, and I always have like YouTube videos where I share my knowledge as much as I can,
yeah,
especially about pricing, because you know I look at photography and not as a hobby. I might have started out as a hobby, but I don't look at it that way anymore. I look at it something that can, you know, get me houses, that can get me a good, I can go on holiday, I can get married, I can live a life like anybody else at a different job. Because,
yeah,
if I ask you right now to turn off your phone and turn off even your laptop, the
mm,
images videos you're seeing, somebody created that. The billboard when you walk outside, when you're driving to work, everything you are looking at, that's visual. Somebody created that, right? And so
mm,
there
mm,
is a huge market for it. And as soon as everybody takes it seriously, we realize how big of a market we have. And this is
mm,
when I start tapping into the stock photography part of things, because it becomes even more exciting for me as Africans, which is
mm,
to actually even multiply what's happening around us, and the things that we're looking at around us. But yeah,
yeah,
when it comes to pricing, it is a very difficult conversation, because you never know. When you start out,
mm, mm,
you always charge too little.
yeah, yeah,
Confident. You're looking at somebody else, you're like, yo, they're using that camera, they've got this, they've got that, and I can never amount to that. But I think it's always being
yeah,
true to yourself, and being true to knowing how good are you, and what type of work are you and understanding the industry also. When you
mm,
understand, see a billboard somewhere in the middle of Hyde Park, that billboard
wow,
with a photo might be, perhaps going for 600,000 rand a month on rent, and that's your
mhm,
photo. And understanding what rights you have on that photo and impact you have on the business and the consumer, it changes everything
yeah,
on how
yeah.
you approach that photo.
That's a master class. I've written some keywords from what you just said now. But before I just get into this, for someone that's listening or watching us, young guy, young lady, someone approaches them, they're hungry. They've got zero in their bank account, and basically any offer that comes their way is like $500, 1,000, whatever the amount is
Yeah.
better than what
Yeah.
what I don't have currently.
Yeah.
What do you say to someone like that in terms of um, regardless of where they might be in the game, but in terms of building up towards what you're now saying, you're touching on things like the IP. How do you treat it as such? The work that you build, it's meant to feed you, build you a home. Help you to find that person and get,
Yeah.
it's a livelihood basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm not saying there's a clear pathway you would do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or whatever, but there's definitely things that one can do that you've done.
Sure.
And what are those things or those words that you can say? Listen, pace yourself. Don't be in a hurry. But ulambile khona manje. So maybe that 500 or whatever the amount might be what you grab, but cover yourself this way so that the industry or the marketplace doesn't treat you or see you as someone who's cheap.
Sure, and I think that's such a critical thing to do.
Mm,
Um, I always take myself and some of the guys that have been here for a little bit long, and even the guys that have been longer. There's veterans in this industry that are still doing what they were doing maybe 30, 40 years
mm,
ago. They still doing it today. So, to somebody else that's hungry out there, I always use this example of myself between 2018 and 2019. I
mm,
literally said to myself, I am not taking any work that does not match my rate, the rate that is currently like the standard.
yeah.
And every industry, just do a little bit of your research. There is a standard in general. We know with salaries at companies, there's always like a market standard that comes up. So you know
Mm,
what the standard is, and you look at your work too and what you're producing. And between 2018 and 2019, I literally said to myself, I'm not taking any work that is going to be below my rate, because I understood one thing. Once you start accepting lower work or lower paying work, what happens is your clients also believe that they can pay you like that for 10, 20 years, because that's what they so used to. So when you change your hourly rate from 850, and which
mm,
was the starting rate when we were starting out, to now being 2,500, 3,600, it's a
mm,
big gap, and you need to know where you play within that, and you need to know your worth. There's guys who literally come into the industry now, and they come in charging one of the highest prices because they
yeah.
already know what kind of work they want to do, what kind of people they want to work with. They are passionate about the industry. They didn't just pick up a camera yesterday and literally think they can take photos. But I think there's a whole science to this thing, and I think the
Mm,
longer you obviously spend in the industry, it takes, it teaches you a little bit more. Nothing
yeah.
happens over time. There's nobody wants to be a lawyer and they become a lawyer tomorrow, but it takes time. And same thing with
Yeah.
photography and any other industry. It
Yeah.
is going to take you time. And if you're passionate about it, you start putting ground rules. When it comes to your pricing, look, I'm going to be honest also, there are times where when you have nothing in your bank account and you're thinking with your stomach, and we cannot pass that to the side, because unfortunately that is our reality as Black people. Some of us as
Mm,
some people, it's, you pick up a camera and you're good at it, or you pick up a skill and you find, how can I make money with this skill? And if you
yeah.
do want to charge, and this is undercharge rather, and this is just something that I've always known, if you do want to undercharge, make sure that if you are being milked of something, make sure that you are getting something out of it. Whether you are getting to meet somebody there, whether you are going to increase your portfolio,
Mm,
because it's also important to get your portfolio out there, right? So if you're not getting booked
yeah.
at all, you're not finding work at all, you don't know how to create your portfolio. If you
Mm,
can go to take it, it's charging 100 Rand less than what it normally does. Make sure that the takeout is bigger than your loss. Then it makes
mm,
your life sometimes easier for you as somebody trying to get somewhere, because then you can still build your portfolio. You're going to meet somebody, you might, the client, you want to impress them that they can hire you more, and you've had a conversation, you've told them, look, if I impress you, can you hire me for these 10 other jobs for the year? You've set some
mm,
sort of
mm.
goal, don't just do it willy-nilly.
That's really informative. So I think also what I'm picking up is what one needs to invest the time, obviously the energy into learning, getting information. You
Yeah,
mentioned that you've got a YouTube channel, for instance,
yeah,
and I think it would be a great thing to share the link. Um,
definitely,
yeah, what is it? That's something I hadn't added earlier, but you can give it to me now.
let me just see. Am I able to type it here in the group?
You can type we comment, but I'm gonna type it we screen also so that it just goes across the screen.
All right, please give me 1 second. I'm gonna give you my channel. Just the links are always sometimes they're not accustomed to your own ones. But
Yeah.
I'll definitely have it here. I'll put it now in the comments.
Okay. Cool. That means I added. That's helpful because I believe there's just so many things we can touch on,
For sure.
should actually touch on, but with time constraints and all that. I'm also being guided by my laptop battery, guys, because of load shedding on my side.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh, but I want us to go into what you've done in building a color space,
yeah.
right? And what is what inspired you to start that? What is the end goal? What is the angle? How can I plug into that and benefit, whether as a photographer or a user?
So I think color space is like it's my little baby. I always get little butterflies when I speak about color space because it was at that such important time for me of transition. So again, I was working at a digital agency, and I would go on Google and I was putting together some calendars or helping put together calendars and content
Yeah.
that needs to be online. And I started noticing that, I'm in South Africa, but the content we were using was what of white people and or
Mm.
European people, and we were sourcing these photos from a European supplier, and it just and in terms of the engagement, it didn't click. It wasn't resonating with the people that we were talking to in terms of
Yeah.
the image. Your message may be great, like support South Africa, but then you find that it has an image that is not relatable, so it loses the message. And it was at that right time of transition where I was about to leave agency and I was seeing what agencies are doing. And so
Mm.
with Color Space, Color Space was born where I said we need photos of Black people and African people in general being authentic as they can be in our element. Because as Black people, we swim, we eat, we do everything else that everybody else does, but
Yeah.
unfortunately it's never shown in the same light, right? So the
Yeah.
images are so of Black people, it was either ekasi, umbanza, hamba phansi, it's all
Mm. Mm.
it was always of poverty. It was never of anything positive, and it never looked like what I was doing when I was at home. I would get home and I would swim, and so I said,
Yeah.
there surely has to be a platform that caters to African people in general, and not just from swimming, but in general of what we do as Black people, whether we're eating pub,
Yeah.
whatever we're doing, we need to be as authentic as we can be. So, then Color Space was really born out of that need of wanting to see brands and advertisers using the correct images to talk to me as
Mm.
who is a customer also. So like
Yeah.
seeing a left-hand drive car, it still doesn't resonate with me because it's,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I probably will never drive a left-hand drive car unless I am in another country, but those sort of things. So colors
Mm. Mm.
born out of that necessity of wanting to find authentic images of Black people, and really the how everybody else can get involved is, when I looked at this, and now when I looked at this, it wasn't such as the case, but now as I look at it, unemployment is one of the biggest things in the country right now,
Yeah.
and you find that either youth don't know how to apply for university, some kind of qualify to get a university, but we cannot all be the same. We cannot all be, book smart. We cannot all be a certain smart, but some people can pick up a camera. Some people are creative. Some people draw. I used to draw in high school. So
Yeah.
when it comes to stock photography, you can use your smartphone, you can use any device, a camera that is around you to capture a photo as it is, and then go on the
Yeah.
internet and submit that photo for free. You can submit it for a price also, from
Mm.
$100 to R1 million. If somebody buys that photo, you literally get percentage of that, and you still own the photo. So that's the beauty part of it. You still own the photo. It's still yours. Anytime you want to take it down, you can literally take it down, and you own the copyright of that photo. So, it
mm,
really gives the power to the creator. Number one, the fact that they earn money every single time a photo is bought.
yeah,
So if you put up your photo on a color space website right now for $100 and 1 million people buy it, you earn every single time somebody buys that photo. And obviously, as color space, we will earn some money too for just the management and keeping your photos alive and displayed to a certain people. But really, the aim is to get creatives to stop hoarding hard drives with beautiful photos, because we saw this in the 21-day photo challenge. If you go on Twitter and you write
mhm,
hashtag 21-day photo challenge SA, it was a
yeah,
prime example to show that there are people in South Africa who have these type of photos. And it's like there's millions of photographers, thousands of photographers rather, and they have millions of photos they can submit that resonate to us. That was a pure example of that people have the photos. So it's trying to get those photos and actually have them on the internet, get people earning, and get brands talking to us directly using the correct
mm,
image. And really, the long term is to showcase Africa and its beauty according to our eyes, because we are the ones that are living in Africa. What we need is
mm,
to showcase Africa through our eyes and through a lens.
yeah, yeah. I love that. And I think what I've seen, and I'm sure you've seen this too, where there's the usual suspects when it comes to black people's stock photo. You see this guy with a big smile in a furniture ad, a cell phone ad, a government ad, because um, people probably go to this one, but it's not a local stock photo platform also. Whereas what I've seen with you, it's someone that also, when I look at them, it's relatable. It's like I'm gonna get into trouble for saying this. So it's like for my location, I grew up in Soweto, and there's someone that you will see on TV, an American film, and you look at an actor you're like, yeah, this guy looks like someone I can bump into Ezola or Emden because of
Yeah,
our features. You understand? So, but you look at the majority of the stock photos that are being used, you see, which they probably look either American, UK, whatever part of the world, but not South Africa or the
yeah,
African continent even. And that's one of the things I like about it. But the biggest one, which you've touched on, is the empowering one, when these artists or photographers still keep ownership of their work.
yeah, yeah.
The power is in their hands.
Really, yeah. And I think, when I look at other stock platforms, and I don't want to talk about them, but when I look
Mm,
at them, in terms of when you start earning money, you literally have to go through tiers of, there's tier one, tier two, tier three, and
yeah.
on tier five, you need to submit 10 photos or 100 photos before you can start earning a certain percentage. On
Okay.
our platform, we're saying to you, you can get, I just can't remember. I think it's 43% right up front, and that's one of the highest, or even higher actually.
Yeah.
43% each sale that you make. So when you look at other platforms, you're literally earning 0.05% of
Wow.
every sale. And that's the biggest competitor, and that's the biggest platform in the world right now. That's how much you earn,
So,
and you have to submit 10 photos to literally, and for all of them to be accepted. And we are saying to the creators, here's the platform that's available for you right now. Submit your photos right now. Somebody buys your photo right now, you start earning
mm,
money. See your wallet live, and you can take it out, put bread on the table, whether it's bread on the table, whatever it is that you're doing,
mm, mm,
which is
mm,
literally
mm.
sort of make a living. And even with smartphones, because smartphones are getting
Yeah.
smarter by the second too.
Yeah.
Where a good phone now can literally take an HD photo, and somebody can take that and put it on a magazine, and it's still good
Wow.
quality. Yeah. So we're giving the power back to the people and saying, we have devices, we take photos all the time, but why,
Mm,
instead of them on social media platforms? And I think when I go back to the podcast I had, it was the same thing, where a lot of people in general, you and I do the same thing. We post on social media, but we don't understand the terms of social media, where Twitter tells you that when
mm,
you post this photo, I, as Twitter, also own it. I have global rights
Yeah.
to it, which means I can put it on a billboard in New York. I can put your
Yeah.
tweet on a billboard in New York or wherever
Mm,
it may be, wherever I want to put it. And I have global rights to it, and you can't earn from it. So we
mm,
post photos on these platforms, whether it's Instagram or whatever it is, and we're basically giving our work away. So when these platforms want to take that work, they can. Here's a platform that's also got similar and even a social aspect to it, where you can start earning money for your photos. Fine, you can go ahead and put it on social media. In fact, I would suggest that people put it on Color Space, take the link on Color Space, and it's got the logo. Make people buy for your content. So because you've got, I look at celebrities as one example. I'm gonna give an example of
mm,
Uncle Waffles. She's one of the hottest people right now in the industry. If she had to say, "You have to pay to see my photos," people would pay.
mm, mm, mm,
People would literally pay. If people, she had to say, "You need to pay to see my photos. You need to start paying to see my videos when I perform. I will not post them
mm.
on social media platform, but they're going to live on Color Space, and you can download that video there and you can watch it." People would
Wow.
pay. That's literally putting the power back to the creators and the people that are creating this, because we're so used to giving content for free, but we don't know the
Mm,
power
mm,
of having that content and utilizing that content.
true. So basically, you're doing what you do anyway, but you might as well make money while doing it, you know?
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
And these social media platforms literally take away from you without you really knowing. So yeah.
Mm, mm. You've touched on something I once wrote in, but this is years ago. I reviewed the then Facebook terms of use and wrote something about it where I was like, hey guys, one, two, three, you must what. So what you're saying about photography, that's what I advised one of my friends back then. Would see this is what you're basically doing. If you share your work in this platform, and then one day you come across it wherever in the world, and you can go to these guys and say, cease and desist, or I want royalties and so forth. So Cyril, on the one hand, there's creatives. I think I would like for us to touch on, and this is also a call, or a challenge to people that are in agencies, those who own agencies that are listening or watching. How do I engage or what's the word, interact or use color space as someone that's coming from an agency?
So I think from an agency side, that's the other beauty part of it. Look,
Mm,
one thing you must understand, we're still new, so we are looking for more content. I think,
yeah.
immediately when you log onto our profile, I think it'll be great for you to create a profile on your own already. So create a profile as a buyer and start interacting on the platform. So start using the
Mm,
key that you would normally use when searching for these photos on other platforms, whether it's Office,
well,
whether it may be, you are bound to find what you're looking for. It might not be in variety.
yeah.
And once you are on the platform, the other really cool thing is that you can literally look who took that photo, and you can now look at all more work from that certain creator. And if you want to, you can even contact them, or on the side, and directly that creator, because some creators have um, some creators have their links on the platform, so you can put in your social media platform, or your social media platforms. You can put in a website link, all on
Mm,
this one platform that is also very social, where you can chat to somebody on the platform directly. So
mm,
as a client, I think it really be helpful for you to go into the platform and play around with the platform, and then give us feedback on where we can improve and what kind of content you are looking for as a client. One of the
mm,
things we've done with some of the clients and some of government clients is they will give us a brief of what they are looking for. And what we will
yeah.
then do is literally spread it out to our market of more than 2,000 photographers around Africa. And they will then submit on the platform, perhaps using a keyword like, I'm going to use a brand and say BrownSense. So under
Mm,
BrownSense, and literally every photo they're going to tag BrownSense. And when you search BrownSense, every creator that all those 2,000 photographers or creators that put a photo under BrownSense, you can start seeing those photos. And then you can
mm,
start even creating a collection. So you can go on a platform and create a collection of the brown people, of travel, of birds,
mm,
of
mm,
whatever you
mm.
want. You can start creating collections and start using them offline, whether it's for a
Yeah.
presentation, whether it's to show somebody else. So there are many various ways you can get involved as a client and start using Color Space, the platform, as something that, like, that really works for you and something that you also want to see succeed in
Mm.
the long run.
Nice, nice, nice. So now I'm coming from an agency or whatever company, and I'm like, you know what? There's a photo that I've seen. I love it. I want to
Yeah,
buy it, but I don't want to see other agencies or companies using it. So in other words, I
sure,
want it to be exclusive to me.
sure.
What does that mean or look like from a color space perspective and for the photographer?
Sure, I think so. Yeah, it's a very good question there. So when you immediately when you log into the platform as a creator or a buyer, when you log in as a
Mm,
creator, choose two sort of things. You want to be an exclusive creator or author, rather. And exclusive means exactly that. So you only selling work that
mm,
can exclusive. So if somebody buys it, it is exclusive to them. And as an author,
mm,
that's the type of content you create. I mean, look, you can create another profile that's non-exclusive. So when you listing all the things that you are, there's a box where you tick non-exclusive and exclusive.
mm,
So
mm,
from a client perspective, it looks, how it looks is that when you buy that photo, you are the only person that is able to use that photo for
yeah,
whatever right you bought it for. So if you buy to use it on a billboard, you'll be the only person to buy it until that period.
yes.
Um, and from a creator perspective, it means that you earn more than you would on a normal photo because this person wants to use it. They only want it for them. And so
Mm,
let's look at it this way. BrownSense buys one photo for R1 million, but
mm,
200 million people say we want to buy the same photo at a price of R1,000. So
mm,
we look at those types of things. So as an exclusive author means you start earning more, number one, and
mm,
I think your clients that you are reaching also become different types of clients. It becomes clients that want to
mm,
work in magazines, clients that want also exclusive content. But
yeah,
from a client perspective and a creator perspective, it is both
yeah,
positive because number one, as a client, it's yours. You use it alone
yeah,
for a period. The creator, though, still keeps the right to the content. So that's always what we guarantee. It is your
yeah,
photo. The client is literally leasing the photo for a certain time period to use that.
mm,
But yeah, that's basically how it would work. But on the platform, when you log in, you can choose either one of those options.
great, man, great.
Yeah.
Man, this is powerful stuff. So
Thank you.
to our viewers, I've shared the YouTube. This is the link to Cyril's YouTube channel. Do check it out. I think there's a lot that you will benefit from this. This is the kind of stuff that makes for a masterclass. I would even state with him, with the way that times are changing. I don't know if it's a true what you call tweet that Ukaspa once said. Some guy asked him, the screenshot that I saw. They asked him, would you go back to school now
Mm,
that you made it, Nemali and all that? And his response was, I'm going to build a school, right? Uh,
mm,
like I say, I
mm.
don't know if that's true or not, but for me, I was like, that's actually powerful because even without a formal education, the experience that he has, it makes for a case study, a master class, trying to
Definitely,
incorporate. And this is how I see this and what you're saying
definitely.
in terms of how you've packaged it. So I do encourage about you to go to your YouTube channel.
For sure. And
Um,
just to add on to that, sorry to cut you short, I
oh
mean,
man, no
you know, we
stress.
we're definitely going to also start hosting master classes in the studio. So we,
Oh, that.
Color Space, the company, also ourselves, we have a studio in Randburg, and what we've gone around and done is collected more than 200 names and people who are interested in already doing master classes with us. So we're just putting that together on how it's going to work out. But it's literally going to be myself, Cyril, and a bunch of other photographers that are able to share a valuable knowledge to everybody else. And also, for me, myself too, I'm going to be learning from the other photographers too, because there's so much
Yeah,
we can pass on one another. But this year, people can definitely look out for master classes that we are going to be doing in the studio here.
Yeah, yeah. No, man, this is great. I'll hit you up about that.
Please do,
So
please.
I didn't know that they're around the corner from where I am, so we'll connect.
For sure, for sure.
Um, so I think maybe before we call it a night, there's something without giving away, free advertising and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When you select tools of the trade, what kind of criteria would you suggest? Go for a name. You see all these people puppeted this type of brand or whatever, or what is, I don't know how to, what would one need to say, look, this is where I'm going to end up because of whatever reason. Maybe they've studied someone like, I'm studying you and I see you're using this equipment, or maybe I'm a magazine that I have to do about this kind of stuff. But is there a process to that, or is it more about sheer luck, so to speak?
So look, I think I always say with photography, and I think with most things, photography is pretty wide. It's
Mm,
literally so wide, it's crazy. Like there's fields that are get recognized bigger than the fields that I'm possibly in.
mm,
Um, like wildlife documentary. There's so many other fields. So I think it's really important to explore, even with your phone. I always, when somebody gives me their phone, the first thing I look at, to take a photo, the first thing I look at is the settings of their camera.
okay.
The equipment sort of doesn't matter, but equipment is everything. It just depends on what story you're trying to tell. So generally, if you're trying to tell a certain story, even your phone can relay a certain message. You just need to know the equipment that you are working with. So a
Mm,
phone, some people don't know how to capture a sunset on a phone, but I know how to capture a sunset that's properly lit because of settings that are on your phone. I don't have to do anything that's extra, but it's really
yeah.
knowing your equipment and understanding your equipment and then saying, okay, I understand my equipment. Let me explore all the different fields that are around me, whether it's from interest or whether it's just out of curiosity. I want to let me try portrait photography, or let me try food photography, or
Mm,
flat lay photography. But it really is
yeah.
about different fields and not necessarily looking at me and saying, okay, this is what I want to do, but maybe perhaps using my teachings and some things that I do. And I urge people, things like baby photography, things like flat lay photography, stock photography, those are fields that people are not looking at all. And just like
Mm,
any cycle of most industries, times change. The entertainment
mm,
industry specifically, or the creative field specifically, we're seeing now Amapiano is really at the top. At one
yeah.
point, um, it was either house music or hip hop or whatever it was. But so will the other genres that I'm talking about now. They'll also get their shine at some point. So I think
Yeah.
there's a lot of fields. Explore as many fields as possible as a creative and as a photographer, and see which ones draw into you. But also be
Mm,
cognizant of like which ones really are going to buy you the houses that you're looking for.
mm,
What's going to elevate yourself? What's going to elevate you even better? Because we have to live from this. It's not a hobby. I think
mm,
we always, maybe before masibona abanye abantu doing, I refer to some people as cameramen. Masibona cameramen around
mm,
your neighborhood, we out that that you also used to live your neighborhood, but now you can literally become a multi-millionaire from this, and we see it
yeah.
whether Netflix or whatever, people starting production houses. So this is very serious, and how you look at it can definitely shape everything. So when you start taking the field of photography and creativity very seriously, it starts yielding the results for you, and that's what I've seen over the years for myself.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
Thank you, man. This is powerful. I think I'm gonna close off with this comment here because you mentioned the various types of photography. We got a comment from Pumza, Notish.
mm,
Uh, there's so much gap in the African food stock photos. I struggle to get them from photo stock companies. So this is an opportunity for someone that has been listening to you tonight,
definitely.
to sign up with Color Space, upload their African food stock photos. Pumza will be your first client. That's current.
And Mzuzukile, which we
Yeah.
may joke about this, but she's
Yeah.
one of 1,000 and perhaps a million of other people looking for exactly this one little thing. And you think, ah, I can find
Mm, mm,
on the internet, but
mm.
the truth is, you won't find quality stock photos on the internet. So if you are listening out there and you're about to have pap
Yeah.
and you see light around you and with
Mm,
mautwane, our food, like whether it's mautwane, whatever it is, mohodu, put it in a
mm,
nice lighting, take a nice picture with your phone, a flat lay, whatever it is, get lighting right, submit it to the platform, and you find
mm,
someone exactly like her is looking for this. Because and
mm.
just how this works, even when she looks for that photo of African food, she might go on Google and say plates of African food with mautwane.
Mm.
And if you submit your photo and literally submit your photo in color space and use those keywords when submitting on Google, your photo is bound to show up first because most likely you are even the first person to even have those keywords or have that photo. So immediately you pop
Yeah.
up, client sees you.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, man. Awesome. We have to end it. I just got the red light alert. No, no
No, but
battery.
this has been
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much for hosting me, man.
Thank you, Renee. I'll be in touch. Thanks for your time.
Perfect. Thank you so much, man. Have a
Yeah.
good evening.
Thank you. You too.
Cheers,
Thanks to
everyone.
everyone who joined us. We will be back same time next week. Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Sharp up.